If you are an investor into Bitcoin and you're probably wondering what's in store for Bitcoin, what is the future state of it? So let's analyze Bitcoin, and this is the Bitcoin futures that I have in front of me, which is basically Bitcoin, but analyze it from a price action perspective. And what I mean by that is let's analyze the candlesticks and look at just the basic moving averages, look at volume and see what is in store of Bitcoin, and not really get into the weeds of the MACD or the RSI, not just because they are not valuable indicators, but just to look at it from a leading indicator perspective. Look at price action and see, okay, what should I do tomorrow? Not just wait for the the MACDs to cross each other or look for the overbought, oversold territories. So I have the weekly chart in front of me, and as you can see, the weekly time frame. The Bitcoin too is kind of like made. You could call it a double top. It's almost a double top. It tried to, kind of like pierce through it and go to a higher high, but I guess double top is what it would be considered in terms of a technical candlestick chart pattern perspective. And what's happened there is that since it's made its double top, it has plummeted, gone back up, and this is just like, the markets never go into like a W, or it never goes into like a V. It will oscillate. It'll kind of like, kind of gradually get down to zero if it has to. So the market moved down, broke through the 20-period moving average line, which is the yellow line that you see there. It broke through the purple line, which is the 50-period moving average line. Now I have this, I have a lot of moving average lines, this, forgive me for the crowdedness that you see in your screen, but that's just like guidance posts, and some of the indexes or some of the stocks do respect different moving average lines, and that's something you will learn in practice and time. So I focus more on the 20, 50, and the 200. But I just keep, so this is the 100, and the 100 is something that you'll notice in the weekly charts. A lot of the banks use it to kind of guide them because the 200 is too far down, so you use the 100 as support as well, and that's why you'll see some of the stocks like just kind of bouncing around the 100 time frame as well. So that's the 100 time frame. You see it kind of oscillated around, again pierced all the way down. So that's what the market's done. Like Bitcoin's gone from 47,000. If you were shorting Bitcoin from 47 to like 19 or 20, that would have been a lot of money. But if you missed it, so be it. Hopefully you were not on the other end where you've invested in Bitcoin at 47 and now it's 20, and that's a different story in itself. So the Bitcoin's gone to like 19,000, and as you can see, it's been oscillating around that area for a while. So 19,000 seems to be a strong area, and that's where it's been, and it's getting a little bit of direction from the stock market too. So if the stock market or the S&P 500 heads lower, I've noticed that Bitcoin would also head lower on those days. Now, the amplitude or the magnitude of it heading lower would be kind of like amplified. It's always a little higher. So if like the stock market goes on 2%, Bitcoin goes on 5% or 10%. And that's what it's been doing in the big downfall, but it's kind of lower now. And the reason why it's low is that when the market falls for an extended time frame, it's tired, it needs some breath. So it's just kind of relaxing, it's breathing before it kind of like goes back into a marathon sprint. Not a marathon, a sprint. So that's what it did. So it actually touched the 200-period moving average line, bounced lower, and now it's just kind of breathing. And you'll see a big move coming on soon. Another thing to keep in mind is pay attention to the volume. So these are just the volume bars that I have on the screen. You can see like the big volume spikes here, and that's where it went down. Now it's kind of flattened out. This one's unusual, so it actually was around. Now this is futures volume, so like don't pay too much attention to it. But it didn't actually do too much, but this was like an extended volume here. After that, it's just been like pretty normal. Today, intraday, it did dip towards the 17,000 mark. So I'm going to go to the daily time frame. So as you can see, the daily time frame, it did actually have a huge spike today in terms of volume. And the reason for it being that today was a very like, as you can see, this is the hourly time frame. It just kind of like went down and like bounced back up. Again, it's just following the CPI numbers. Now CPI has nothing to do with Bitcoin, but it's just like the market emotions are all intertwined with each other. So everything, if like one thing falls or the indexes fall, everything will follow through it, because everything's emotion driven. It doesn't make sense, but it's emotions. So it did fall down, extremely high volume, but it came up with an extremely high volume as well. And since then, it's been quiet, it's been calm, and the market's just like kind of like breathing air. So so this is the hourly time frame. We don't really like talk too much about it, but it seems to be like trending higher in the hourly time frame. Now, this is the 4 hour, and as you can see, where is it heading towards is the 200 period moving average line. So something that I do, and this is just not to bore you out, is that I keep different time frames into perspective. So 4 time frames that I keep always looking at is the weekly, that's going to be on one screen, the daily, the 4 hour, the 1 hour, and the rest is just noise. Like, you don't pay attention to that. So the 1 hour, 4 hour, daily, and weekly, 4 time frames. Try to get a trading platform that actually would provide you with 4 time frames, and just kind of like map it out to get a better perspective, rather than just flipping through all these different time frames. So I do that too. I haven't kind of like, just to kind of like make the visuals much better, I haven't like diced it down into 4, but that's what I would do if I'm like actually trading the market. So I hope that was helpful. Do let me know if you have different thoughts on how Bitcoin's moving. If you'd like me to analyze a different stock, I can do that for you as well. A different index, I can do that for you as well. So my speciality is price action. I do look at technical analysis. I do look at all the other indicators. I do feel that a lot of them lag and don't provide you with accurate insights as much as the basic moving averages and just the candlesticks provide you, and that's more real time for me. So let me know your thoughts on what works for you. Let me know what's your strategy that you use to get more real-time inputs into the market, and I'm glad to hear you out, and maybe I could show you some different methods and strategies as well on how you could trade better as well. So I hope that was helpful, and do stay tuned for another video coming up soon.